Hi, hello, this is Shweta. Welcome to my classes. Today we will be understanding the concept of heat capacity. So before getting into the topic, let me give you an example. So if we just take water in one beaker, okay, and we will take oil, okay, so I'll take in drops, okay. So if I take water and oil and I'll start heating both, okay. So when I start heating both water and oil, what happens is oil will get evaporated easily, okay, whereas water it takes some time, okay. Even it does, but it takes some time. What this shows is, here whatever the temperature I am giving, so this oil, it is not storing, it is in the form of energy, okay. It is directly converting its temperature, means it is increasing its temperature. Whereas when you come for water, no, it takes some time. It means what? Water has the capacity to absorb the energy, it has the capacity to absorb the energy, and it doesn't change the temperature easily, okay. It takes some time and it absorbs the energy. So I can tell that here the heat capacity is more, okay, whereas here the heat capacity is less. I require less amount of heat here, okay, because it will easily, the temperature changes here, whereas here I want more amount of heat to change the temperature, okay. But heat capacity, definitely it will be different for different liquids. Yes, for oil it is different and for water it is different. So heat capacity means what? It is the amount of heat required to change the temperature by how many degrees Celsius? 1 degree Celsius you can take, or 1 Kelvin. So how the heat capacity is defined? Heat capacity is defined as the heat, whatever the amount of heat given, required to raise the temperature, okay, by how much? 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin, okay. That is nothing but your heat capacity. So how I can define the heat capacity? I have written the definition here. So the amount of heat required to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. So this is nothing but your heat capacity. Then definitely that heat will be directly proportional to temperature. As you go on giving the heat, your temperature will be increasing. So if I remove the proportionality constant, what you'll get? So I'll get some constant, okay. If I remove the proportionality sign, I'll get some constant into delta T. So that constant, let us take that constant as C, okay. Q is equal to C into delta T. This C is nothing but your Q divided by delta T. So this C is nothing but what? Your heat capacity, okay. So how your heat capacity is defined now? So heat capacity is defined as the amount of heat, how much amount of heat you are giving to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. So this is all about the heat capacities. Clear? So here we will learn 3 types of heat capacities. First is total heat capacity, next is molar heat capacity, and other one is specific heat capacity. So now let us learn one by one. So now let us study total heat capacity. So what it defines? Heat required to raise the temperature of given mass by unit Kelvin, or 1 Kelvin you can say. So here the amount of substance, whatever the given mass of substance is there, no, it depends upon that, okay. So it will be different for different. Why? Because I can take in one beaker also, I can take a liquid. Yes. So if I take in one beaker, this is a small beaker, okay. I am taking the water in a small beaker, and I am taking a big tank of water, okay. So here I am taking in a big tank, okay. So here given mass of substance is different, here the given mass of substance is different. So what it shows that the total heat capacity here also it will be different, there also it will be different. So how this total heat capacity is, how much amount of heat I require to raise the temperature, here 1 unit Kelvin, and here also this much is the amount of mass of substance given, how much heat I require to raise the temperature by unit Kelvin. Definitely it will be different in both the cases. So what it shows is, why I gave this example is, this total heat capacity, it is an extensive property. What you can tell? It is an extensive property. Why it is extensive property? Because it is depending upon the amount of substance, okay. It is depending upon the mass of substance. Hence I can take it as an extensive property. And how I can give that equation is, C is equal to Q divided by delta T, where C is the total heat capacity and Q is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature, okay, by unit Kelvin. This is all about the total heat capacity. So next is what we will study? Molar heat capacity. capacity. So molar heat capacity is defined as what? Heat required to raise the temperature of 1 mole by unit Kelvin. So you are considering the mole of a substance here. For 1 mole of a substance, okay, for 1 mole, how much I require the heat? Okay, so that is nothing but molar heat capacity. So how you will give this? Now here molar, it is Cm I take. This M indicates what? Molar. Okay, specific molar specific heat is equal to Q divided by delta T as usual, but I have to divide it by n number of moles. Okay, so for n moles it is Q by delta T. Okay, if I want for 1 mole, I have to divide it by n. So here molar heat capacity is given by Q divided by n into delta T. This is the equation for molar heat capacity. Now tell me whether it is extensive or intensive. It is definitely an intensive property. Usually all the molar quantities, no, they will be intensive. Why they will be intensive? Because it is independent of the amount of substance. Okay, so whatever be the mass of the substance, but you are considering only how much? 1 mole. Okay, it is whether a big bottle or a big tank or a small like conical flask of water, whatever it is, but only 1 mole of substance you are considering. Okay, matter is only 1 mole. Okay, so this is nothing but your molar heat capacity, and it is an intensive property. Clear? Next we will move on. So next is what? Specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity is nothing but what? It is also the heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram. Okay, here you are considering the 1 gram of substance by unit Kelvin. Okay, so here you are considering what? M. Mass of substance is 1 gram. So what you will take? This specific heat, usually it is indicated by S. Okay, I will take it as S is equal to Q divided by delta T as usual, but I will take here M. Okay, so therefore M gram of substance it will be. So here I want 1 gram of substance, so I have to divide it by M here. So again definitely this will be an intensive property. Again it is intensive property. Why it is intensive property, tell me? Because here also it is independent of the amount of substance. It is only dependent on 1 gram. So it will be always the same. So this is all about the specific heat capacity. I hope you are clear with heat capacities, molar heat capacity, total heat capacity and specific heat capacity. Thank you.